vehicles. So next up we have Joe Mercurio from General Motors. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Ken. Many of you are more familiar with me in my work in Hawaii in the fuel cell area. But as General Motors, we're working in all areas, fuel cell, electric vehicle, and biofuel. And we really believe that the solution is a multi-pronged solution. There's a limit on the energy resources in those areas. There's different usages of vehicles, and we see a fit for each of those technologies. So I'll show some charts on where we see each of those technologies fitting. The Volt is an extended range electric vehicle. Some people call it a plug-in hybrid vehicle. What's a little bit different for an extended range vehicle is that it can run on electric only. In the case of the Volt, it's 40 miles electric only. And then it has the capability of going another 300 miles with a small gasoline engine, a 1.4 liter, along with obviously gasoline as the fuel. And we look at that as an appropriate solution in the electric vehicle area, given where the technology is today, where the infrastructure is today. We will be bringing out battery electric vehicles. We did a battery electric vehicle in the past, and we think those work well, but the EREV is what we thought was right at this point in time. We really felt, as we looked at different options in the electric vehicle category, that for an electric vehicle to be relevant, it had to be capable of being a primary vehicle. So not limited to 50, 100, 150 miles, but having a typical driving range of 300 miles. Having the ability to go into city areas, hot climates, warm climates, cold climates, all different types of applications, and the Volt is capable of that. How do we come up with the 40 miles? I think Forrest touched on that a little bit. If you look at this chart here, the old 80-20 rule, 80% of the American public drives 40 miles or less per day. So 40 miles will keep most everybody in the electric-only range for their typical driving. And then for trips and additional driving, they can utilize the gasoline engine. Going back to the different technologies, this we call our vehicle application map. Along the horizontal axis is driving type, going from city on the left to highway on the right, and then on the vertical axis is vehicle load, or really vehicle size. So we see the BEV as smaller vehicles, shorter driving distances, typically city use, and then for slightly greater usage, vehicle size, that's where we see the EREV coming in. And then beyond that is the fuel cell, which has the capability of powering much larger vehicles going much longer distances. The heart of the Volt, of course, is the lithium-ion battery. In the case of the Volt, it has 16 kilowatt hours of energy. Now, we only use half of that, 8 kilowatt hours, so that we can get to the bottom line there of an 8-year warranty and 100,000 mile. And we believe that we're significantly more than that, but that's where we're at this point. Back about 15 years ago, the EV1 was about the same size battery in terms of kilowatt hours, 16, but the battery was about twice the size, twice the weight. This is 400 pounds. The EV1 was about 800 pounds. So the technology has come a long way. It'll continue to evolve over time as we do more development work. Charging the Volt, there's two options. One is level 1 charging, 120 volts, and that's 8 to 10 hours. And all of that equipment comes with the vehicle. Uses a standard outlet in your garage. For faster charging, 240 volt, that's about 3 to 4 hours for a fully depleted battery, and that requires an additional charging unit. Coulomb and others have charging units that are compatible with our vehicle. Another aspect, OnStar, part of General Motors, provides the capability of communicating with your vehicle, being able to understand the state of charge, to be able to do pre-cooling, preheating, to be able to manage when the charging starts and stops based on utility rates and other factors. Charging infrastructure-wise, if you think about the Volt and how it works, the fact that you can get 40 miles of range, you also have the additional 300 miles. Residential charging is really key. If you can get it charged up overnight at home, if you're driving less than 40 miles, you're all set. If you're going further, sure, other charging units at the workplace or in retail environments would be helpful, but not necessarily required. So again, our focus is on residential, with workplace and retail and public as being sort of secondary. A couple more items on the Volt. Pricing came out a few weeks back, maybe a little higher than some expected, $41,000. And then, of course, because of our battery size, we can take advantage of the full federal tax credit, the $7,500 tax credit, bringing that down into the low to mid 30s. Lease price, 3-year lease, comes also with OnStar, is $350. And if you do the math for a typical user running on electricity as opposed to gasoline, you can save about $100 a month. So that brings that down to about $250 a month. Pretty good price for that kind of technology. We think that that's going to be well received. Goes into production the end of the year. We don't have a firm date at this point. Launch locations, California, Austin, Texas, state of Michigan, New York City, Washington, D.C., New Jersey, and Connecticut. Hawaii's in 2011, August of 2011. We will be here for the auto show in March of 2011. Fuel economy-wise, that's been a big question. That's going to be announced in the next few weeks. We'll be talking more about fuel economy, fuel tank size, and some of those other items. So the Volt is coming. There's the Volt coming off the production line. We build them in Hamtramck, Michigan. That's just north of Detroit. Have a couple other vehicles there, including the Chevrolet Malibu that are built on the same assembly line. And as I mentioned earlier, we will have other electrified vehicles coming in the near term, battery electrics, as well as fuel cell in the 2015 timeframe. So look forward to some discussion afterwards.
Thanks, Joe. Good to hear that explanation of the difference between the battery electric and the extended range EV. And also good to hear that you'll be here for the auto show, and thanks for mentioning the auto show, which will be in March of 2011. It's an exciting event, and it's a premier event where we hope to highlight many of the new technologies in conjunction working closely with the auto dealers here in Hawaii.